evening. I'm Ces Oreña-Drilon.
I'm Pauline Verzosa.
And I'm Shawn Yao.
The big stories tonight. No relief for the weary. Another mega hike on the prices of petroleum is happening in a few days, with diesel selling soon at 130 pesos per liter.
The world superpowers move to ease the pressure on the oil crisis by ensuring safe passage at the Strait of Hormuz and by increasing fuel output.
And some comfort amid all the global chaos, for the Army at least, as they count down the hours to the much-awaited BTS comeback concert.
Hindi tataas ang presyo, siguro mga isang buwan, yung iba baka 2 buwan.
Dumating na sila kasi malaki na yung nawawala rin kita sa kanila. Pag-aaralan ano yung magiging ng petrolyo.
Kung manghihina kami, kawawa yung pamilya namin. Umaasa kami sa Bombay, mangungutang ng 5-6.
And it's happening all over again. Just like in the past 2 weeks, projections see diesel and gasoline prices breaking records. Another round of bad news for the transport sector, which is facing 130 pesos per liter diesel by next week. Mobile journalist Marimon Reyes has tonight's big story.
Motorists may face another round of significant fuel price increases next week as the petroleum crisis linked to the conflict in the Middle East continues. Oil industry sources said diesel prices could increase by 13 to 14.50 pesos per liter, while gasoline prices may go up by 7 to 7.50 per liter. These adjustments, if correct, could push diesel prices to as high as 130 pesos per liter and drive gasoline prices beyond the 100 per liter mark. The projected hikes are still attributed to concerns over tighter global supply, particularly due to recent attacks involving the United States, Israel, and Iran. This week, gas prices jumped to 4-year highs and oil prices rose again. That's after attacks by Israel and Iran on gas fields heightened fears of prolonged disruption to international energy supplies. Brent crude, the global oil benchmark, rose by 10% to $119 a barrel at one point before slipping back to $110 a barrel. Crude prices have now soared by 60% since the Middle East crisis started on February 28. However, a major development may see Middle East oil finally getting through the Strait of Hormuz. Britain, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, and the Netherlands said they were ready to contribute to appropriate efforts to ensure safe passage of ships through the Strait of Hormuz. The countries made clear, though, that they were not talking about any immediate military help. Since Iran's blockage began, there are now more than 3,000 vessels stranded in the Strait. But with uncertainty still the main concern with oil prices, members of the country's transport sector say they may not survive next week's projected 130 peso per liter diesel.
Umaasa kami sa Bombay, mangungutang ng 5-6. Banana Q, yun na lang, at saka tubig. Kung manghihina kami, kawawa yung pamilya namin. Pero yung gobyerno, ewan ko kung anong iniisip niya. Walang iniisip yung gobyerno na maganda para sa mamamayan niya.
Transport leaders who originally pushed for a 5 peso fare hike are now asking the government for bigger subsidies.
Dumating na sila kasi malaki na yung nawawala rin kita sa kanila. Mag-uusap pag-aaralan ano yung magiging ng petrolyo.
Transport Group Manibela also claims more groups have become dismayed with the government's response to the crisis and may soon join a bigger transport strike next week.
Baka hindi natin alam kung bukas, kasi marami kahit mga nasa kooperatiba at mga ibang samahan po ay nagsabi na sa atin na kung kami ay ang Manibela ay magkakasa ng isang transport strike ay sasabay daw po sila at sasama.
Piston, together with allied progressive organizations, marched to Menjola on March 20, the second day of their nationwide strike. They called on the government for more sustainable solutions to rising fuel costs. Earlier this week, President Bongbong Marcos deferred the approved fare hike for public utility vehicles in favor of subsidies and expanded assistance programs. Kapatid mobile journalist Marimon Reyes, we are One News.
Well, once again, President Bongbong Marcos is reassuring Filipinos the country has enough food supply. That's despite the unrelenting war in the Middle East that is still causing a massive fuel crisis. In fact, Marcos believes the country's food supply will last much longer than 30 days. The chief executive made this statement during a visit to one food factory in Laguna, which specializes in canned and processed goods.
Kami naman, nakita naman ninyo, isa lamang ito, 10% pa lang ito sa kanilang stock. Ibig sabihin, hindi lamang ang Century, kundi ang iba't ibang mga food processors at saka retailers ay maayos naman ang stock natin. Ang supply ay hindi kailangan na mag-alala ang taong bayan. Ang food supply natin ay sapat kahit na pangmatagalan.
Mr. Marcos also cited a promise from manufacturers and food processors not to jack up prices, at least for now. Trade Secretary Cristina Roque added even supermarket owners are keeping prices as is.
Basta hindi tataas ang presyo hanggat kaya nila. Kaya siguro mga isang buwan, yung iba baka 2 buwan, hindi magagalaw yung presyo.
Meanwhile, Palace Press Officer Claire Castro appeals for understanding from the transport sector. She said this is the reason why drivers were first in line to be given subsidies to help ease their burden from skyrocketing oil prices. Castro adds that the government is trying its best to help both drivers and commuters.
Meantime, the Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD, has announced the schedule for the release of the next batch of subsidies for the transport sector. Next to receive the cash relief assistance will be drivers in the TNVS, or Transportation Network Vehicle Services. This is on Tuesday, March 24. On Wednesday, March 25, will be allotted for public utility jeepney drivers. On March 26 and 27, delivery riders may claim their subsidy. While on Saturday next week, March 28, it will be the turn of motorcycle taxi riders. The DSWD reminds all concerned beneficiaries to wait for announcements from their local government units, or LGUs, for further details. Aside from the DSWD, the Transportation Department and the LTFRB will also be releasing assistance to PUV drivers. These will be announced soon, along with details for the national rollout.
Now, what else can be done to soften the impact of rising fuel costs? And joining us tonight for this discussion is House Deputy Minority Leader and ACT Teachers Party List Representative Antonio Tino. Good evening, Congressman. Welcome to the Big Story.
Hi, good evening, Ces, Shawn and Pauline. Thank you for having me here.
Would you say that the BBM administration's response to the crisis is rather slow?
Rather slow and inadequate. It's becoming very clear that it's too little, too late. No, is this it? Congress already is on break, and the only measures that were certified as urgent and passed before the break are two relatively insignificant measures at this point. We can say that, no? The authority, giving the authority to the president to suspend excise taxes on fuel, which would at most give relief amounting to 10 pesos per liter for diesel, 6 pesos for gasoline, and the president has not even exercised it yet. Plus the authority to import biofuels instead of sourcing them domestically, which may result in slightly lower fuel prices, but at the cost of the farmers, no, who will obviously lose their market if the government, or if we go to imports. So definitely too little, too late. It seems the government is, the Marcos administration is not taking this global crisis as seriously. No? And actually, that's the impression I got.
Well, today the president, Congressman, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but just to, I suppose, address fears of possible food shortage or increase in prices, the president visited a canning factory today. What do you say about that?
Well, the big announcement there is that we have a food supply for 30 days. Is that meant to assure us? No. What we want to hear is that there will be a continuous supply of food, given that we are an import dependent,
Right.
dependent on imports for our food supply. So continuous supply, and that they will remain affordable. So it's not just a matter of having access to imports, but the question is whether or not they will remain affordable. Already we're hearing that kilo of rice in some rice in some areas is being sold at over 60 pesos per kilo. And we're just at the very early stages of this crisis and of the effects of the oil crisis, working its way into food prices.
Going back to the law you mentioned that would give the president authority to remove the excise taxes on fuel, could he already exercise it, or does he have to wait for the average to exceed 80 in a month's time?
The law also allows for a declaration of state of emergency would allow the president to suspend. No, so it's up to him.
So
Yes, the ball
today he
is
could
in
have
his
done
court.
it. He could have done it today or yesterday.
Well, yes,
And-
if the
And in your
but he has
belief,
not done it so far.
and in your belief, he should. He should. He should not.
Well, it should have been done yesterday, last week, no, because prices diesel is now at over 100 pesos per liter, and as you mentioned in your report, next week it could go as high as 120, 130 pesos per liter. These past 2 days, we were with jeepney drivers, and they've been telling us that when diesel was at 60 pesos, they could earn a little over 1,000 pesos in a day, but at 100 pesos, it's down to 250 pesos a day. So by next week, they will no longer be able to. It won't make sense for them to even go out and drive.
Apply
no?
their routes.
Apply their
What else
routes.
could Congress have done? Well, you're already on break, but what else could you have done? Could you have identified perhaps sources of revenue that the government could, that the administration could tap?
Well, that's one. No? We were expecting some sort of supplemental budget. It's not clear. There's going to be payout of 5,000 ayuda. It's not clear. The jeepney drivers have told that that's good for 2 full tanks of gas, not even 2 full tanks of gas. No, so whatever relief that they bring will be very temporary. So it's not clear whether or not government has the resources to give more payouts, as the crisis drags on.
Congressman,
Mhm.
we are in extraordinary times, and with regard to the impeachment of the Vice President, the Committee on Justice has actually managed to have a few days during the break to discuss the impeachment. So, having said that, is there anyone in Congress pushing to, maybe have an emergency meeting? And as to what Cesar said earlier, are there any floating mitigating measures in the lower house proposed by maybe 1 or 2, or maybe a group of lawmakers that, some bright idea that we could do and enforce immediately?
Well, we have proposals. Want to remove, not just suspend, to remove the excise tax and VAT on fuel products, because from the beginning we've said these are regressive taxes. So remove them totally, but also together with this, empower the government to effectively monitor and control the setting of prices of the oil companies. Now, this is to make sure that whatever lowering of prices may happen with the removal of excise taxes, to make sure that that the lower prices will actually be passed on by the oil companies instead of just continuing to raise their prices. So
Congressman?
effectively, that means doing away with the oil deregulation law, with oil deregulation. No,
Right.
so
So
that
is there anyone proposing to revisit or amend the deregulation law at the moment? Like something concrete? Has anyone written a bill?
we filed a bill just the other day, precisely regarding this, giving the government the power to regulate prices of fuel, effectively repealing the oil deregulation law. So there is a concrete proposal. I mean, in the longer term, the government should return as a major player in oil. So that means giving the government the power to import oil and to sell at retail. So, in other words, take back petrol. That's another one of our proposals.
Well, Congressman, earlier you already touched on the possibility of a supplemental budget, but what about realigning some budget items towards more social protection programs, social services?
Well, realigning would that's actually the power of the president. No, but the president can only do that if there are savings. No, the problem is we're still at the beginning of the fiscal year. So at this point, there are no savings yet. So a law cannot be passed to reappropriate what has already been appropriated. That's why a supplemental budget would be what is needed in this situation. However, the palace did not come up with a supplemental proposal.
What about CIF, Confidential Intelligence Fund? Some economists have suggested that is quite a big amount, and maybe some agencies could just use that instead.
Well, we can point to many items in the current budget that should be realigned. No? So that includes the pork bar, the lump sums, notably those that remain in the DPWH, the big lump sum, which is new for 2026, that has been set aside for local governments, the financial assistance to local government units. We've said that this is where they have shifted the traditional pork barrels. You mentioned confidential and intelligence funds. There's the almost 10 billion funds of the NTF-LCAC for counterinsurgency, which could also be used. So
Congressman, my bright idea was to reduce the salaries of representatives. Why not? You are right. The assurance by the president that there's a supply of food for 30 days is kind of worrisome, because what happens after,
After 30 days.
May, and when the peso is weak, we will have to import food. It will really drive up prices. But, why not? Why not?
I mean, I'm sure that will be a very popular proposal. I will not object.
You will not object? Wow, I
will not
already have
object.
one vote.
Okay.
Actually, natawa.
Making a list.
We had Ibon
Sunny Africa.
Foundation, yes. And
Yes.
he really laughed at that. He said he didn't think it would be possible. But, Di ba,
No, but
it
okay.
is, there are extraordinary times and we have to think of really
Okay.
these kinds of
And right.
out-of-the-box solutions.
Yeah, speaking about funding for subsidies, no, based on the briefings of the economic managers last week, what they plan is take away the excise tax, but retain the VAT because they said once uh, oil reaches $100 per barrel, whatever revenue is lost from the excise tax will be more than made up for recoup by and more by through VAT because VAT being a percentage, when the fuel price increases, then the VAT revenues increase as well. So parang ganun yung plano is to government will get more revenues from VAT when prices increase, fuel prices increase, and
Congressman,
most likely they will subsidize, they will get subsidies
right.
from that increased revenue. However, our proposal, what should be done is take out, kasi in other words, parang taong bayan din naman ang ultimately magbabayad ng VAT. So our proposal instead is to take away VAT and then get the subsidies from a tax on the oil companies themselves because they will be profiting from this crisis. No, it's called windfall profit. So a windfall profit tax on the companies, the oil companies themselves. So let that subsidize the ayuda for all the different sectors that need it.
Congressman, what are your thoughts on the possibility of implementing a wealth tax? Some economists think that's the way to go. While ordinary consumers are bearing the brunt of this crisis, it might be time to tax the wealthy, the billionaires of the country.
Well, that what I just explained is, a subset of that is to tax specifically the profits of the big oil companies. But more generally, that should be the case. No, I mentioned earlier that the excise taxes and VAT, these indirect taxes, are regressive, and in fact, after train, a larger percentage of government revenues have been consist of the income from VAT, from indirect taxes. So in other words, the system became more regressive. So yes, that is the proposal. The counter proposal is instead of taxing the poor more, we have to tax the rich more. So hence the billionaires tax.
Okay, we'll be awaiting a draft of that measure if there is one. Are you considering that?
Yes, we already have a bill. So hintayin nyo. Wait for it.
Okay, and
Okay.
are there, and just to close, are there any talks of holding like a special session during the break because of the effects of this crisis?
As of the moment, no. No. So, but as we said, that was what I thought. No, when we suspended. No, ito na ba yon? Is this it? The economic managers, parang the impression I got is that they're praying or hoping that this will, not last very long, and that things will get back to normal. But most everyone now thinks that even if the war in Iran end now, the effects of the disruptions on the energy and food and manufacturing supply chains will last until the even next year. No, in the form of higher prices, higher inflation, and so on. So, and even shortages, shortages of fuel, of food. So talagang mukhang hindi siniseryoso ng gobyerno. And it may come to that na kailangan ng special session. We don't know.
Thank you for talking to us again, House Deputy Minority Leader Congressman Antonio Tino. Now, rising fuel prices have forced some bus operators at the Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange to reduce their number of trips. 3 bus operators traveling with Batangas City route have reduced trips from 23 to 19. The same goes for Baliwag Transit, which has slashed trips to San Jose City, Nueva Ecija from 12 to 10. This is happening only several days before the Holy Week exodus, but the leaner operations will only be during regular days. Meantime, some bus dispatchers are disappointed by President Marcos's announcement to suspend fare hikes. For their part, the Provincial Bus Operators Association of the Philippines will try to convince the President to reconsider his decision.
Problema po, sinuspindi po yung taas pasahe at wag daw po munang itaas. Kaya po ngayon nasa regular fare po tayo. Tapos ayun nga po, isa pa rin pong dahilan yun kaya po tayo nagbabawas ng bus. Kailangan po natin matipid yung diesel ng bawat biyahe natin para po maka-afford po tayo ng biyahe hanggang matapos po yung Holy Week.
Napakalaki ng lugi, talagang negative na yung cash flow kasi aabot na ng 60% yung operating cost mo, fuel pa lang.
Okay.
Paano yung sweldo ng tao? 20%. Actually, sinabi namin sa kanya, even with the fare increase na ibinigay na 15% ng aming present fare, kung ang halaga ng diesel ay 110 pesos, lugi pa rin.
Well, we're going to hit pause first on the bad news as we talk about supergroup BTS, whose much-awaited comeback concert is causing quite a stir, even triggering a security lockdown. The big story will be right back after this break. Keep it here on One News.
The big story is back with grim news of Philippine farming industry or the Philippine farming industry facing an aging workforce. It's not only farmlands that are shrinking, even the number of farmers has significantly fallen over the years. But there's still hope, as mobile journalist Danielle Dayao tells us in this report.
As Filipino farmers face an aging crisis, efforts are underway to encourage the younger generations to enter agriculture. Food production, rural employment, and the country's food system, all now at stake as farmers continue to age. Despite over 10 million registered farmers, the Department of Agriculture stresses the need for greater youth participation.
Yung sitwasyon natin sa sektor ng pagsasaka ay may challenge, especially on aging population with an average of 57 years old, and also the low participation of our young generation engaging in agriculture sectors. Very crucial kasi sila ang magbibigay ng panibagong perspektibo, mga innovation nila. May maraming mga ideya rin ating mga kabataan.
And with the sector evolving, the Agricultural Training Institute is rolling out free programs.
Yung agricultural landscape ngayon ay evolve. Meron naman tayong mga smart agriculture, integration of information technology, mga data-driven technologies, and as well as climate resiliencies. At marami pong programs, si ATI, for them to join and build a career in agriculture, particularly those who have innovative ideas to solve concerns in agriculture.
These programs include DG Agri-Haki, where students develop solutions to real farming challenges, internship opportunities abroad, offering hands-on training in modern agriculture, alongside e-courses and support for youth groups like 4-H clubs. And for some young Filipinos, the shift is already happening.
I mean, any agriculture-related programs are very sulit, talaga worth it. Ang daming fieldworks at talagang masasabi ko na buhay ang college life ninyo kapag tinake ninyo agri-related programs. So far, so good. Sobrang nag-enjoy ako. First sem pa lang last year. Talagang kahit mahirap, may mga scientific names na kailangan naming aralin. Talaga nag-enjoy
Panood ko
ako.
po yung pagtatanim ng lettuce. Start po ako magtanim sa 16 cups of lettuce lamang. Trinay ko po siyang i-post sa online. Hindi ko po lubos akalain na marami pong bibili kapag pundar po tayo ng sariling greenhouse at nakakapag-harvest na po tayo ng 400 cups of lettuce per month.
In the end, experts say agriculture today is no longer just traditional farming.
Pag sinabi mo kasing agrikultura or agriculture sa kanila, madalas na ikakabit nila ito sa word na kahirapan, ano. Ay, ito yung mga community na hindi sapat yung kita. Dito sa agriculture, hindi lang sila magiging magsasaka, kundi magiging mga agripreneurs na rin sila. Agriculture is very adventurous, ano. It is not just a boring na magtatanim ka lang yan tapos na, no.
As agriculture evolves, the next generation is encouraged to step in, not just to farm but to shape its future. Kapatid Mobile Journal Daniel Dayaw, we are One News.
And on a much lighter note, it is the comeback concert millions are waiting for. RM, Suga, J-Hope, Jin, Jimin, V, and Jungkook, also known as BTS, are back on the stage tomorrow, March 21. But before that, they dropped their new album called Arirang. Join us live from a BTS listening party in Taguig is mobile journalist Jazz Paredes. Hi Jazz, how are the Philo armies over there? Is anyone swooning? Has anyone fainted? And what were the general reactions to the new album, Arirang?
Actually, Shawn, halo-halong emosyon yung nakita natin kanina sa listening party dito sa isang coffee shop sa BGC Taguig. And actually, kanina naghiyawan and todo yung cheer nila nung nag-play na yung unang main track, yung Swim ng Arirang. And of course, bukod doon sa emotional sila at yung iba nga daw naiyak dahil for the longest time, almost 4 years, nagbalik na yung ating global sensation na BTS sa big screen. And bukod sa magiging emotional, talagang nag-uumapaw daw yung kanilang saya kasi nakita na ulit nilang kumpleto yung membro ng grupo ng BTS sa big screen. And of course, bukod din doon sa kanilang naging streaming party, nag-enjoy din sila sa programa dito sa listening party. Masaya silang manalo ng mga raffle prizes kanina at may pa-trivia games din dito kanina, Shawn. Nanalo sila ng mga official merch ng BTS at meron din namang nanalo ng mga fan-made merch dito kanina, Shawn.
Okay. Jazz, may live viewing ba bukas? Whether there in BGC or elsewhere or maybe more than one?
As of now, Shawn, no, nagtanong-tanong tayo dito if bukas ba ay manonood sila or magkakaroon ng streaming party para sa comeback concert bukas. And so far, ang nakuha nating info, Shawn, ay meron daw streaming party sa SM North bukas, 7 p.m. Libre at bukas daw to sa lahat, bukas sa lahat ng sa fanbase ng armies. And so far, yung mga nakausap natin dito, dadalo doon bukas. While yung iba naman, magsusolo daw muna mag-stream bukas. At iba naman, kasama yung kanilang pamilya and yung kanilang mga fellow armies na friends para manood ng kanilang comeback concert bukas kahit team bahay, Shawn.
Alright, well, maghantay na lang ako ng mga hiyaw ng aking mga kapitbahay. Thank you so much for that update. Mobile journalist Jazz Paredes coming to us live from BGC in Taguig. And calling all our Kapatid armies, there's more. Stay updated on the happenings in Seoul through the Kapatid channel's special coverage of the BTS comeback concert. Our MJ Marfori is the only accredited Philippine media correspondent over there, and she will bring us up to speed on the latest from Gwanghwamun Square. So don't forget to reach out to us on social media by using the hashtags BTS Live on Netflix and BTS_Arira.
All right, and here's another story that needs celebrating. The third All-Women Sports Awards has just concluded, and more than 80 female athletes were honored in this annual event. And reporting to us live from the PICC is mobile journalist Ray Vicente. Ray, who were the most notable awardees tonight?
Pauline Session, kasabay nga ng National Women's Month, ngayong araw ay syempre binigyang pugay din ang mga kababaihan sa larangan ng sports kung saan kanina nga hapon hanggang alas 7 ng gabi isinagawa itong All Women Sports Award 2026 dito sa Philippine International Convention Center kung saan 38 awards ang binahagi sa mga Filipino women athletes. Ang ilan rayan ay ang Philippine Women's Football Team na Pilipinas na binigyan ng award bilang Athletes of the Year. Habang si Angel Autumn naman sa larangan ng swimming ang binigyan ng award bilang Para-Athlete of the Year. At syempre, bagaman hindi nakadalo, si First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos ay binigyan din siya ng parangal bilang ina ng atletang Pinoy. Pero maliban sa mga atleta ay syempre present din sa naturang event nga ang Senate President Vicente Tito Soto at Senator Bongo bilang chair ng Senate Committee on Sports. Syempre nagbahagi din sila ng kanilang speech at nag-abot din ng award sa mga atleta. At syempre sa pangunguna nga ng Philippine Sports Commission, hindi lang daw ito talaga pasasalamat sa mga atleta, kundi sana raw ay magsilbing inspirasyon sa mga susunod na henerasyon, lalo na yung mga Filipina young athletes na pumunta at matuloy sa kanilang pangarap dahil may mga ganito klaseng recognition.
All right, well, thank you very much for that report. That was mobile journalist Ray Vicente reporting to us live from the PICC.
This is still the big story on One News. There's some relief coming next week. Tollway operators are adjusting their fees to help motorists cope with oil price surges. Find out how much the discounts will be when we return. Welcome back to the big story. We bring you more headlines this Friday evening, beginning with news on the education sector. The Economy and Development Council has approved a shift to a 3-term school calendar starting school year 2026 to 2027. This is to address lost learning time caused by frequent class disruptions. The plan proposed by the Department of Education will replace the current 4-grading system with 3 longer terms to allow for more continuous instruction. Officials said the change is intended to help stabilize student learning and reduce natural and man-made interruptions.
In another development, European nations, along with Japan and Canada, are ready to join efforts to ensure safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz amid rising tensions linked to Iran. In a joint statement, the countries condemned attacks on commercial vessels and energy infrastructure and urged Tehran to stop actions that affect global shipping and abide by resolutions of the United Nations Security Council. The superpowers likewise said they would work to stabilize energy markets, including supporting increased oil output and backing measures such as the International Energy Agency's release of strategic petroleum reserves.
And back here at home, public utility vehicles, buses, and other vehicles engaged in deliveries will get toll discounts starting Monday, March 23. Metro Pacific Tollways and San Miguel Tollways are offering discounts for 2 months to cushion the impact of rising fuel prices on essential transport sectors. Vehicles will get to save anywhere between 3 pesos and 72 pesos per trip. The Transportation Department says the discounts could be extended subject to review of the initiative's impact.
And now for a bit of good news amid the Middle East conflict and massive oil price increases. One platform for small food businesses, Mercato Central Group, or do I say Centrale? Central, is bringing back its nationwide competition for aspiring food founders. They're calling this the next big food entrepreneur. The winning concept will have a chance to get a food SME starter package and up to 6 months of free rent at the prime Mercato location. Now let's talk about this more with RJ Ledesma. He's the CEO of Mercato Central Group, and Esther Consuelo Evora, incorporator and business partner of Steaks and Deli. Good evening, RJ and Esther. Welcome to the big story.
Good evening. Thanks for having us.
Thank
really
you
a
for
pleasure.
coming on a Friday night.
Yes.
Mahal na ang gasolina papunta dito. But
Buti walang traffic ngayon.
Holiday ngayon, so walang traffic.
Sa bagay. RJ, Steaks and Deli is a graduate, diba?
That's right, that's
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
That's
Tell
right.
us how one can graduate from Mercato.
Well, basically, Mercato Central, you might know it as a night food market. Actually, we've grown a bit more than that. We're not just a night market anymore. We're actually almost the whole week we're open. And we have about, right now, currently 6 and we're going up to 10 locations by the end of the first quarter. And we are really a small food business incubator. Our job is to help a lot of small businesses to start off with us and eventually gain the skill sets that they need to grow, because there are so many passionate, great entrepreneurs like they were called J&J Steakhouse with us, but before that,
Okay, no, JJ.
yeah, see, alam mo yan, di ba?
Yeah, I just didn't know this new name.
And we had many others like we had Mama Luz was there with us before. We had Mary Moo. We had Time Mango. We had Pedal Cafe. We had Sunrise. Yes, and they got very big. So, but for all the success stories that we have, there are others. They have the passion, but they don't necessarily have the skill set to run a business. So when you come to Mercato Central, it's the perfect opportunity for you to learn about finance, about operation, about production, about marketing.
You teach
and eventually
them, or
graduate.
they learn it from...
They learn on the spot.
On the spot,
And
by participating.
we also mentor them at the same time. But that's why we realized that the need to put up what we call a Mercato Academy. And so we teach them informally and sometimes through sessions. But this is where we institutionalize through the next Big Food Entrepreneur Contest, where we institutionalize how we teach our small food vendors to put into place systems that will help
Let's
them grow.
ask Esther.
Please.
Parang Shark Tank ba yun?
Kung talaga ba?
Shark Tank for food.
Well, for this one, for this particular one, it's almost like a Shark Tank for food, where we get the best of the best. Among those, we've shortlisted 20 of them to actually participate over here, and the winner will get a cash prize plus
How do
a
they
6-month free stay.
They send a proposal? Or?
They sent in a video of their product, and we always look for, you know, it's like when you go to food, you always look for the unique story. We're all looking for that unique story that they have, so that they stand out amongst the rest.
Oh, but Esther, what did you learn ba muna by participating in Mercato, and when did you first try it out? What year was that?
It was 2023.
Not too long ago.
Yeah, we've been there for 2 years.
And then, umalis na kayo, nag-graduate na.
We graduated because we eventually decided to do full-scale restaurant. And of course, we've learned a lot from the experiences that we had with Mercato. That was J&J Steak before, right? So, you know, the cost that we have to endure, they have helped us so much in...
Like, for instance, be more specific, like how?
Like, we need to start small, you know, before we go big. So since they've offered a very low rent, it's affordable, so that's why we were able to manage our costs and overhead before going big into a full-scale restaurant.
Because I said before, they were actually just steak distributors.
Yes.
And they didn't know actually how to run a steak restaurant, so they wanted to try it out with us. And we're perfect praise.
Suppliers of restaurants.
Yes, we were suppliers of restaurants. And then we planned to do a restaurant, and then we decided just do it small first, and then we've, you know,
so
we've
nag-experiment kayo muna sa
exactly.
Esther, I'm curious, what was the biggest lesson that you learned during your time as a seller in J&J Steak in Mercato?
You need to understand your customers first. I think that's the first lesson, and then you just you make it simple before you dream big. So that's our...
So what was the simple product? Basta parang grilled steak lang?
Yeah, Wagyu cubes, and we also offer ribeye steaks, and then we made it very affordable for everybody.
Like mahal na ang bilihin.
Like, it ranges from 200 to 300 lang po.
Oh, that's affordable.
Yeah, it is.
For steak,
yeah.
diba?
Yes, for steak. And it's authentic, so that's why we're
But
very
now
proud
we have to go all the way to Antipolo.
Yeah.
So how is business? Do you regret, you know, getting big?
No, of course it's difficult, you know, to start. But it's exciting, and at least now we know.
It's paid off. It's
yes,
paid off?
exactly. Yeah.
Naka-ROI na kayo?
I wouldn't say, not yet. We just started in December. So, yeah. But it's going good.
Yeah. I just want to say that I remember the day that her and her partner, Joanna Hernandez, sent me a message on Instagram. They were saying, Mr. Ledesma, I want to inform you that this will be our last day in Mercato Central. Sabi ko, like, because we're opening up our own restaurant in Antipolo, we're so happy to have graduated. Thank you so much for all the lessons that we've gained over here. And that for me, that makes me very proud. That they say that, you know, there's been literally thousands of people have come through us, and those that have become very successful. We're so happy that they've become successful.
I'm just sad wala na kayo sa BGC.
I hope to return one of these days soon, but we've got eight branches from Pasay to Malate to Antipolo to Taguig, and our biggest one here right now, Mercato, Bridgetown. We're supporting so many great entrepreneurs.
How many concessionaires do you have per Mercato?
In Bridgetown, we've got about 30. In the others, we've averaged about 12 to 15. And sometimes, like for them, I give smaller branches a chance to grow. Like, for example, they start in one and they're very successful, and they realize and they can eventually start expanding to the others that we have.
Do they get a discount if you have multiple
locations?
Yeah.
We give them, we're like we said, we're very
What's
easy
the rule
to
of thumb?
negotiate.
Magkano ba? Magkano per...
They can range from maybe from 2,000 to 2,500 to 3,000 per stall per night.
Really?
Yeah, not
per night.
Ganun lang?
Yes, that's why we
Pwede na pala ako mag-ihaw-ihaw
exactly. Pwede. No, kasi para sa amin, the most important is the
2.5.
advocacy. We're a business, but we're more an advocacy. Of course, you can have the effort of you can do the charge them more, but if you do, then they lose their ability for them to be able to grow the business because that's what they're worried about.
RJ, is it still just food now, or do you also sell other things?
Well, primarily for me right now, there's a concept of this guy named, in a book called Good to Great by Jim Collins, of the hedgehog concept. Stick to what you're good at. And what we're good at is finding, supporting, and mentoring small food entrepreneurs and helping them grow by helping them discover their secret sauce. The secret sauce is that one specific thing about, because you can make shawarma, pizza, pasta. It's all the same. But if you've got something that makes it uniquely different, whether it's skill set or product or taste, then we want to help you develop that secret sauce.
But you know,
How old are
RJ,
you
when people think about putting up a business, they say going into the food industry isn't for the weak. It's very, very hard, right? There are a lot of challenges. But is entering the food industry, putting up a business there, still profitable in this day and age?
Well, that's why there's a Mercato Academy in place. There's actually a taste test what we have. In the taste test, you have to go there, and after you're done with the taste test, we try the product. But when you're done, we tell you honestly, like, it's too sweet, it's too... But at the same time, there already begins the mentorship process. We ask you, how much do you plan to sell it? Because we realize people, they don't even know how to properly price the product. And then, what's your unique selling point? So my general manager, Dan Aguilar, veteran of so many different businesses. So in his head, he's got already the database of what to download to them so that when they start off, they can at least start off with a fighting chance to survive. Like, you have to tell them on the slow days, how do you control inventory? How do you control your HR? How many people do you hire? Those type of things. At the same time, you also teach them portioning of the plate. These things you won't learn like them. You don't learn those things until you're actually there and you're selling to people. That's why customer feedback is the best. And the investment that you put out isn't that big. So if you have got to stop operations, it's great. If you're in a mall, you have a contract for 2 years. In the first 3 months, you realize you can't pay for that one. At least as you go, okay, for the first 2 weeks, we can operate great. What do you got to change? What can you tweak? What can you do different? How can I add to the menu?
So you really observe, you go around.
Yeah, my people go around, plus we give our input to them as well.
I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but obviously, we've just been at the start of the show talking about, the various economic problems that we are facing, amongst them, higher food costs, higher fuel costs, both of which are in Mercato.
That's right.
Gasol. LPG tanks. Hindi pala gasol. But, okay, Esther, let's start with you.
Well, kasi importer na sila to begin with.
Yes.
So you really know that side of the business.
But are you also having sleepless nights?
Meron na bang increase ng ini-import nyo?
Right now, wala pa because we still have enough stocks. Yes.
For how long?
30 days. Sabi din ko
How many? More than 30 days?
Yeah, more than 30 days.
Mas magaling sila kay BBM. Parang ang assurance sila sa akin, good for 30 days!
Yeah.
Okay, so you won't increase prices for the next...
Not yet. It's maybe in the next 2 or 3 months we could still sustain.
When the imports are more expensive. But do you worry about it?
Of course.
Is it a sure thing?
Right
now, no. The suppliers haven't.
No, not yet. So,
for sure it's gonna be a short thing. Come on.
I don't know.
You import from what countries?
US, Australia, Brazil.
Oh.
Okay. And are you worried also? So there's that part, diba? But she also has her restaurant.
Yeah.
Which is another
Yes.
business altogether.
Yes.
Yeah, what do you use to cook? What kind of fuel?
LPG.
LPG?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, so-
baka magka-shortage daw. What did you hear?
Well, we have alternatives. We can use electricity. We should also definitely
gonna go up.
soon. But you will definitely look for alternatives. But of course, we worry about
Do you also worry that people will eat out less?
Yeah. Yes.
Balik na kayong merkato, biglang ganun.
And actually, that's what I want to put it. That's how you think. That's how. Well, I'm an entrepreneur, so you've got to see what is the positive in this situation, and you think it differently. Mercato is basically an outdoor
So mas
mother
mura.
market. It's more affordable. There's more choices that are available versus, let's say, if it was based in the mall, you can choose more. We take out a lot of what you might find convenient in the mall to eat in this type of atmosphere. So if you think about it, if you had this much money, why don't you put in a place where you can have more choices?
So it's an opportunity for you.
Yes.
But for like a standalone, medyo challenging,
yes.
no?
Yes, we need to innovate talaga.
Did you think, baka you decided the wrong time?
No. I hope not.
Hindi, I'm sure may natutunan naman siya.
Yes.
So may Mercato experience.
They're operating almost the tail end of the pandemic. So people learned so much about resilience, about grit, about being an entrepreneur, and a food entrepreneur, especially during those times.
Yeah. And I think it's all part of a journey of being a business owner, right? There are uncertainties. Okay, but at this point, I want you guys to invite our viewers to visit Mercato Central. And how can they follow this competition?
Oh,
the next
fantastic,
big
fantastic.
Yeah.
So, just to let you know very
Parang
briefly about the
gusto kong
competition,
sumali dyan.
we're doing a taste test. We're doing a short list where amongst the judges will be Jose Jomag Magsaysay, the co-founder of Potato Corner, will be one of them.
Okay.
We also have, I think, Milka Romelo, the owner of Sushi Nori. I'll be coming because they're also looking at potential investments among these
Milka's
people.
such a young entrepreneur.
And she's so creative. One of her first stands was in Mercato Central. That's why she's also
You're
a judge here. Right?
joking.
No. Yes. So
Sushi Nori, you mean?
Yeah,
So she's
one
a
of the
graduate.
original concept.
Okay.
They started
she had
off over
other-
here. Yeah, before
Sushi Nori?
before pre-Sushi Nori days. So what happened now is that after they do the shortlisting, they will go through a Mercato Academy. We're going to teach them a one-day boot camp for all of them. And finally, the 20 finalists will get to showcase their products live in the market. That's on April 18 at Mercato Bridgetown in Pasig. Guys, a show for that one. You're going to enjoy that. At the same time, if you are a food entrepreneur, we invite you to be part of Mercato Central here at the same time. Just visit us on Mercato page.
There you go.
Yep.
And
Wow.
Esther, your restaurant, very quickly, where can we find you?
You can-
On Instagram or Facebook?
Yeah, so we're in every social media platform, and you can also visit us at A Sun Center in M Santos in Antipolo.
You
I have
also-
a customer for you already.
Meron dyan mahilig sa
Our next
kinakain. Pero pwede rin bang bumili ng frozen?
Yes, we offer
In the restaurant?
In the restaurant, yeah.
Lang?
No, you can order also from our Facebook
Right,
page.
you can deliver.
Yes.
Hey, I'll try. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the time.
This sounds very exciting. And on a Friday evening yet, thank you for coming. Mercato Central Group CEO RG Ledesma and entrepreneur Esther Consuelo Evora.
All right, and on that note, that's it for the big story this week. We thank you for watching.
Thank God it's Friday, but we are back on at Monday at 8 p.m. and we will see you then.
Kapatid, we are One News, all sides, all the time. Good night and have a great weekend, everyone.